Right, this is number V, you know? Cause it a thought me now want take my strength down. Man would have bleed momentum. Bang down the board house and keep the fence down. Whole team out, me no bench now. Father God, me might not be your best son, but the best come from the worst, me never yet run. Them a fi carry me na the earth before me step down. If you never ball with it, wrong again so. From me a little boy, greatness a running on me blood. Greatness a running on me blood. Hey, greatness a running on me blood. Greatness a running on me blood.
Shouts to those of you locked in Boston, Hartford, Connecticut, Springfield. Shouts to everybody locked in Worcester. Vision, you see. Me lace up me boot for the mission, you see. If you cut me right now, my ambition. Shouts to all my Brooklyn peeps locked in. It is the international show on your radio, taking you till 10 o'clock. Of course, at 10 o'clock, Revelation Vibration takes over, taking you till 1 a.m. It's Mondays here at Soundchat Radio. By the way, I want you guys to remember to log in each and every morning. We kick off at 6 o'clock in the a.m. with the morning show. Great programming happening here at Soundchat Radio. You can't go around it. It is the place to be. Once again, shout to the livest chat room on the planet. Big up to those of you that's been hitting me up in WhatsApp. So, oftentimes we speak about Jamaica, and we talk about some of the crazy things that's happening in Jamaica, right? And yeah, a lot of that stuff is worthy of conversation, but we don't get to talk about the good things all the time, right? And I think that somewhere in the new year, we need to have a Good News Jamaica feature, a Good News Caribbean feature to kind of balance out the conversations that we have here at Soundchat Radio, right? And we also speak about the lack of effort that people in the diaspora make to help people back home in Jamaica. That's always a concerning and strong topic here at Soundchat Radio, right? Say, oh, man, they run off them mountain, but them not do nothing in the yard. Man, them just come a yard on vacation and eat that and go back at them yard and blah, 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 blah. Right? So our next guest in studio is doing some really, really great things with his foundation to help out in Jamaica. I'm going to let him explain who he is and what he does, and we're going to have a really, really great conversation. Those of you who are, on the edge of your seats because you want to talk about the Sound Clash at Sea, that's coming up next. But I definitely want to highlight this brethren from the JAHJAH Foundation, Dr. Trevor Dixon. Welcome to Soundchat Radio.
Well, thank you for having me, Chin. It's really a journey, and it's really a pleasure to be here. But it's like a journey. It's like JAHJAH works that I'm sitting here with you guys. So
give thanks, man. Give thanks.
Ninja, pick up yourself.
Yes, so sir. I understand that you are the director of emergency ultrasounds at Jacoby Medical Center.
Yeah, that's in the Bronx, where the building collapsed tonight, right? Yeah, I work at a level 1 trauma center in the Bronx, Jacoby Medical Center. So big up everybody at Jacoby, all the nurses, everybody who's locked into Soundchat. Big up yourself.
Yeah, man. Big up to all of the people who work in healthcare. It's definitely a needed position and an under-respected position at times. I always say that really rate healthcare people until you need them. Well, when you need them, you rate them, but otherwise we kind of overlook them.
As you know, during COVID, I work in emergency room. So during COVID, I think the whole nation got a respect for the frontline workers, the nurses, the doctors, and even the people who clean up the emergency room, the housekeeping staff, because they came to work every day, and we knew we were in danger's way, but we never run, we never hide. So we stand firm. And
that must have been a really tough time for you.
Of course it was. You leave your family, and you don't know if you're going to come back home. You don't know if you're going to get sick while you're at work and end up on a ventilator. And we saw the bodies in the trailers, because the morgue was full. There was one night when they said to us, boy, no more freezer, so they took ice and put the patients in the body bag and put the ice in the body bag, and that was the temporary way to preserve the body. Wow. And then we put them in the trailer. Eventually the trailers came, so it was a rough time, but the public was very supportive of us, and people would bring us food at night. Different restaurants would bring food. Jamaican restaurants would bring food. the JAHJAH Foundation, we also send food to certain emergency rooms because we know it's just a motivation, for people on the front line.
So from what I'm understanding, you have been rallying up the troops here in the States and bringing them back to Jamaica to help people who can't afford to get the proper health care that they need back home. Is that true?
Well, yeah, best to talk about the journey. Well, as you know, my foundation is named JAHJAH Foundation. Anytime somebody hears JAHJAH Foundation, especially a Rasta man, especially the 12 tribes, they say, who is this JAHJAH Foundation? And then they see a bald head, and sometimes they get turned off, because they don't know who the person is. But as Bob Marley say, you don't have to dread to be Rasta, and it's what's in your heart, So, the reason why I came up with the JAHJAH Foundation has to do with my background, right? Now, it's interesting, the whole sound clash thing and the whole music thing, and music was what was embedded in me as a youth, right? I come from a place in Jamaica where, big of Cheryl South. I'm from a place called Christiana, Manchester, right?
Okay.
And I come from a road called Bronte, right? And if you know anything about Bronte, that's where Black Cat come from, right? So Black Cat is not even 2 minutes from where I was born, in Christiana, Manchester. And so on Sunday morning, the people come from church, 1 o'clock. Scotty, who used to own the set at that time, and he still own the set, he used to lick music from. So that was my speaker in my house. You understand me?
Your early upbringing.
Oh,
Right.
nice.
So Christiana is where Black Cat come from, and of course Panther. Yeah, see, I was at the song clash at
World Bash?
Amazuru.
Oh
and
wow, you was at World Bash.
Yeah, and I saw the tribute you guys did for Panther, which was huge, So as a Christian man, we respect that, and so like I said, there's a lot of things about JAHJAH Foundation and Dr. Dixon which we might not know. And when I came from Jamaica, I ended up landing up in Brooklyn, and I live on Church and 45th. But you might not know exactly what happened on Church and 45th, but Sir Tommy's, that's where Sir Tommy's, and Bobby Channel, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Sir Tommy's lived right next door to me. And my father, I just come from Jamaica, I was 10, and my father wouldn't let me go dance with, you can't go dance sometime there. But because of Tommy and how Tommy was righteous and everything, my father said, yeah man, you can't go with Tommy. And that's how I started in the dance hall, lifting up box for Tommy. And back then it was Tommy and Sons Junior and local sounds back then. And eventually, I used to go to Biltmore Ballroom, Galaxy Ballroom.
Seen.
Right. So if I call his name, And I grew up on. Then I left Tommy, and I went to Utica Avenue. And I don't know if you know what was going on Utica Avenue back then. Utica and Church. So
Utica and Church would be Superpower.
Yeah, man.
before it was named Superpower, it was actually named Enterprise, right? Shirley, right, from England, right?
Yes.
And that's where Trevor Sparks started also, right?
Yeah.
And Trevor Sparks was on 49th between Church and Church between 49th and Utica, but I was more with the Kingston man them on Utica Avenue.
Seen.
So I started with Music Master, Whitty, which was Music Master back then, and he actually is the one who run Uptown Mondays now in Kingston.
Yes.
So that is where I come from, and I used to work in a record store. I used to work in Whitty's record store. I used to sell records, and when I used to go to Jamaica, I used to buy the 7-inch 45, and I go to Jamaica, I give away all my clothes, and I buy all records and put them
come back.
and put them in my suitcase. So you know the story.
Yeah, man.
So yeah,
Wow.
and I saw the transition where reggae music. Back then it was even called dancehall music. It was just everything was reggae music. You had Dennis Brown and you have Sammy Dread, and everybody was kind of like
Yeah, in the same.
George Nooks and all them man. They were all he was Prince Muhammad before him. So I know the music thing, and back then on Utica Avenue you had all the producers. So I knew most of the producers. Like Joe Gibbs' son was Rocky, and Joe Gibbs was there, and they had Arawak. Then you had Jalife. Then you had Music Master, and then you had Soul Haven, which is where Road International came out of.
Seen.
And TC Tony, that's where they used to hang out up there, right? And this is before there was even Road International. And a whole heap of other things that, people, yeah, so I'm a foundation. My foundation has always been dancehall music, So when Brigadier first came to Galaxy and Peter Metro them down there and Shot Start Lick and everything, those were the days, 90s was 90s, man. I'm coming to dance, say things are gonna jump off, and so I'm a foundation youth. A lot of people hear about Dr. Dixon. They says, "How did you become a doctor?"
I was just about to ask you that.
So I have a big of Whitty still because while I was on Utica Avenue, and Whitty saw that I loved the music, he also saw other things in me that I had I was a little smart, you know. So Whitty would actually protect me, and I love the music, and he used to keep me away from the other things that the music can sometimes bring, as you know. Yeah. And eventually, I went to Wingate High School, which is a local high school in Brooklyn, and it's very Jamaican. So it's not hard for Brooklyn people in particular to be very strong with the Jamaican culture, because you leave. I was on Utica Avenue, and Henry John Jalons and Tenasaw, this is where they came. When they come from Jamaica, music, you have to go on Utica Avenue,
Right.
and that's where you meet everybody, right? So Volcano, John Joe, them times Tyan, and all of them came up together, and Billy Boyer and all those guys. I mean, those are guys who are, and what's his name, Tyan. All those
These,
guys.
for those of you who don't know the names, these would be the foundation. The
Dancehall.
the foundation guys, the guys who set the pace
Yeah.
for a lot of the stuff that we do now. I was just having this conversation on the ship with Colin Hines, and I was saying to Colin that we have to, regardless of whatever we think about a person, we have to be able to separate that person's personality from their contribution, because their contributions is what has allowed us to make a living. You know what I mean? So we have to respect that, right? So the doctor now is talking about, Dr. Dixon is talking about some of the foundation people who migrated here from Jamaica and pretty much set the pace for us to do what we're doing up until this day. Now, the interesting part of it is that, and again, big up to Whitty. Whitty is a Fletcher's Land man, so Whitty is
Yes,
somebody
sir.
that I know
You know
very
it, yeah,
well.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
right. How does the music now bring you into where you are today? I understand. I can understand the work that you're doing in Jamaica based on where you're coming from culturally.
Right.
But how do you combine both the history of your upcoming with the knowledge of the whole medical field?
Well, it's interesting because, I eventually left Utica Avenue, and I went to school because I always loved chemistry, and I thought I was going to be a pharmacist. But I said, no, man, it's too boring. I can't stand by no desk and tell Mom, Grandma, take your medication. So my mother said, my mother was a nurse. And she said, why don't you try to go in the hospital and see what you can do? She said, but whatever you do, Trevor, don't be a nurse, because you can't take orders from nobody. That's what she told me. So eventually I did ultrasound first. Ultrasound was the first thing. You look at the babies and all those things. And I went to downstate, across the street from Kings County in Brooklyn. And I went to downstate and studied ultrasound. And when I finished the program, the white folks come up there and say, boy, I hope you're going to turn doctor in there, because you have a brain. You should go to medical school. So I'm telling people, medical school. Me, I'm from Utica Avenue. I mean, that wasn't in the program for what people thought I could do. Even my parents didn't know I had such a potential. It goes to show, But I love my community. I was entrenched in the music. I was entrenched in the struggle of the music, and that gave me the strength, I believe, to say, you can be whoever you want. Back in the days, there was a word, the N-word, every is a star. That was how I felt, as a Jamaican growing up in Brooklyn, that I could do anything that I wanted to do. And Jamaicans always had a reputation. Whatever they want to do, they can do it. So eventually, I went to school at night at Columbia in Manhattan. So I used to leave Kings County. I was working at Kings County, doing ultrasound, and I jump on the train, go to Columbia, and the man of Columbia said, yo, you're a serious youth, and I think you should be a doctor. And I said, okay. And I took the exams, and people guided me along the way. I didn't do it by myself. I had a lot of mentors along the way, and eventually I went to medical school in Newark, New Jersey, because I'm not afraid of working, in the hood, as they say, So I worked I went to medical school in Newark, New Jersey, and I stayed in Newark. And it was easy for me to stay in Newark and not come back to Brooklyn, because when I lived in Brooklyn, back then I had like $5,000 worth of parking tickets, because you know how it is to park in Brooklyn. So when I went to Jersey, my sister, you can't just park your car and the police. So I stayed in Jersey for about 10 years. And when I graduated from medical school, the first thing I said, I'm going back to Jamaica to see how I can help my people. And that's how it all started. And because of the music and the dancehall connection that I had, I wasn't afraid to go into Kingston.
You wasn't afraid of the people?
No, because everybody who came from Kingston came to Utica Avenue, and
Right.
I wasn't afraid. So I went to KPH, Kingston Public Hospital. Yeah, it's a Chinese guy. His name is Lyndon Williams. My wife, friend at the time, said, "Yeah, man, I'll take you down to KPH." And everybody was like, "You're gonna take him down to KPH?" Because I would say, ghetto, But he said, "Yeah, man, I'll take him down to KPH." So I went down to KPH, and I met this doctor named Dr. Wong, and it's a gangster doctor too, just like how I was. Him say, "Oh, you're one of them doctor who come from foreign and promise things and people and see you again." And I said, "No, what we can do, because you're Foundation Youth for Music Avenue, so your word is your bond, as you know what I mean, right?" So I went back to New York, and he and I developed a rapport, and he trusted me, and we developed a bond. And the first, I went down there to teach doctors how to do ultrasound. The same ultrasound that I didn't know what he was going to do. I went to Kingston Public Hospital, and he would organize that every public hospital in Jamaica, the doctors would come once a year in Kingston and learn how to do the ultrasound that I would be teaching them. And I did that for 15 years, and we still do that today.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is that your primary give back, is educating?
That's how it started. But, JAHJAH Works, like I said, I didn't start off naming it JAHJAH Foundation, It was just me going back to help, But eventually, living in Brooklyn, I saw that there was a lot of people who was willing to help me, there's a lot of Jamaicans in Brooklyn, and some people are mean, as you know, just like when you go on a cruise and some people not get no tip. They have Jamaicans who will give back. If they trust you, they will give back, So you can't really lose hope in people, as you know. Some people just cheap, and sometimes even them have some doctor just cheap. They may spend $150,000, $200,000 on a woman, but they won't give you $100 to help Jamaica. That's just human nature. That's how people are, But you have good-minded people, and I tell you, most of my people who support the JAHJAH Foundation, they're mostly everyday people, dancehall people. They're not uptown people. And if you see how much we have done because of the support we
So
get.
are they all caregivers as well?
Most of them,
yeah.
Because I do most of my soliciting in the hospital and everything. But and I have to big up 93.5, when it was around, because Erwin Clear started to highlight what I was doing, and then eventually who gave me a big boost was Ras Clem, because Ras Clem had a wide listenership, and he believed in what I was doing, and as he would tell you, he asks about who is this guy. He vetted me, before him put it. But let me tell you something. When I keep a fundraiser, sometimes you have to call and beg people for play your ad, and some people want money. Ras Clem said, "No." He called me and said, "You have something going on, send the flyer, come at me run upon the station." And because of his he gave me a lot more exposure than I would normally have. Now I keep a boat ride. I get like 400, 500 people on a boat ride. Before, I would never get anything. So I want to big up Erwin Clear and Ras Clem and the whole 93.5 crew, those folks who are supportive to me. So me being here on Iris and Chin Show Sound Chat is a journey that I felt that was important, because like I said, I'm a dancehall person.
Right.
In Brooklyn, I have to big up Blackheart, because that's a sound that we used to follow in Brooklyn. Blackheart, I big up JAHJAH and the whole crew there. I mean, they set the trend back then, because back then there was Fergo Digital and a lot of smaller sound. I don't know if you know what Fergo Digital.
Of course,
yeah,
right.
man. Brooklyn,
Of course.
Vegetarian Delights, right there, Brooklyn and Clarendon.
Yes, of
Foundation Youth, man. So,
So, Jamaica, because I want people to understand that you're bridging, you're creating a bridge of help from the diaspora to Jamaica, something often that, again, like you said, the doctor downtown said to you, say, yeah, one of them will come here, come run off your mouth and don't come back. Yeah. What have you been doing over the years? I want to talk about that success. I want to talk about how much people you have gotten involved in the success.
That's an amazing question. You're a good interviewer. I want to just big up for that.
Give thanks.
It's been a journey, like fundraising is the key to what we're doing. The first time I went to Jamaica, and Dr. Wong would show me around the emergency room. Chin, I couldn't believe what KPH emergency room looked like. You see, they have tiles like these, and the tiles were missing, exposed. And
It's horrible down there.
listen, and you have to remember saying, back then, before chikungunya, and there's always dengue that coming out, and you can actually see the mosquitoes were coming out. I'm saying, damn. They say, one thing, if people have to die, you can't, as a doctor, you can't save everyone, but people deserve to die with a certain set of dignity. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's always been my drive. And sometimes people mistake my passion for arrogance, but it's really a passion. And I said, no, man, I couldn't with good conscience know that I, even as bad as them say Kings County is, and there's a certain standard that hospitals here have to follow. I said, no, we can do better than that for Jamaica. And honestly, let me tell you something. And when I tell about my talk, you know, it takes us who know better to do better. Because sometimes when people live in Jamaica, they don't understand what they deserve. It's just like when you go in a bank in Jamaica, you can't believe so they lie. You know, there's no way you're not going in a bank line in Jamaica because you're like, no, man. Sit up 3-4 hours in a bank line. You would never do that, right? But people down there do it.
Because they don't know any better.
That's what I'm
yes,
saying.
They don't know the
Everything
system.
in Jamaica is that way because they don't. I'm not, when I say they, you know, I'm not talking the people who have it. You know.
I mean the way
yeah.
the way they've been trained to accept the service. It's like because they've been introduced to the service in that manner, that is the way they feel like it's supposed to go. So
They
it
don't
takes an
demand more.
outsider to come in now and kind of raffle things up, so or for them to actually travel outside of Jamaica to then come back and be like, yo, you know that we're doing it totally wrong.
And I'm not here to knock Jamaica, you know.
Right.
Sometimes we could be misunderstood for that.
Right.
We love Jamaica and we love Jamaican people. But there are some people who are in power. And when them get sick, them fly out. You understand me? But not everybody can fly out. And sometimes not even them can fly out.
So when you guys go back, what do you actually do?
This is how we're going in January. This is typically what our week look like in January. And we're doing an ultrasound conference. We still train doctors, because you know doctors come and doctors leave. We train doctors how to use the ultrasound. And we usually rent a hotel space because you can't do it at the hospital. Because if you do it at the hospital, then call the doctor, them to come see the patient, they can't learn. So we invested in the money into renting the space at a hotel. We pay for the food to come. We pay them to come so they can learn the technology because it's our people them have to take care of. Right? And you know you're not getting CAT scan in Jamaica. You're not getting an MRI, so forget about it. Yes, very few people can afford that in Jamaica. A CAT scan costs $60,000. And a person's average salary is sometimes $10,000, $12,000. Nobody getting no CAT scan. So the ultrasound becomes key because ultrasound is affordable. And the way how we do it now, we just partner with an organization, a big organization called American Friends of Jamaica. Then put on all them for them fundraiser, them raise all the $1 million. We not see that kind of money, right? But anyway, they have partnered with us. They realize that JAHJAH Foundation has been doing it for 15 years, training doctors how to do ultrasound, and American Friends of Jamaica just bought into what we're doing. They gave us a grant and they bought some ultrasound for the doctors for the first time. They bought 25 of these handheld devices, and we've been training the doctors now how to use them. And Chin, every 2 weeks, we're at Jacoby there. Every 2 weeks, Spanish Town log on, the doctors from Spanish Town log on, and they present their cases to us. Next week, Sav Lamar. And we do this for free. Me and the doctors, there's about 5 or 6 of us, white folks, everybody else.
So your reach is island-wide. It's not just in in Kingston.
They have bought into what we're doing. Okay, so that's just one thing that we do. So when we go in Jamaica in January, on Monday and Tuesday, while we're training them, in January we're going to go to St. Thomas.
How many people do you typically end up training? What's your reach?
I've trained over 600 doctors already.
Wow.
Wow.
Over 15 years, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. All this is available if you go on the website, JAHJAHfoundation.org. And JAHJAH Foundation stands for Jamaicans Abroad Helping Jamaicans at Home. If you look at the acronym,
Oh, wow.
that's what it's spelled.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
But a JAH works. I tell
Right.
people, I just say go. You understand? So Monday and Tuesday, while the doctors are learning how to do ultrasound, we have nurses and doctors in the field. We go to St. Thomas. We have a bus, and the dentists are seeing patients. Dental care in Jamaica, forget about that. $6,000-7,000.
So you take dentists down to Jamaica as well?
We have Dr. Jacqueline McLean from out of Connecticut. She brings about 5 or 6 dentists. She runs a program, and we see the dental care is the biggest problem in Jamaica.
And all of this is for free?
Free. And we do a fundraiser twice a year. We do a boat ride, which I'm sure you're going to be promoting from now on. We do a boat ride in the summer. We call it Cruising for a Cause. And we do a gala in November in Jersey. And
All proceeds go to...
And you think I would stop there, right? Because I'm not afraid enough. I'm from the dance hall, and if I come up with an idea, we just do it. The last project that I've taken on now is, first of all, we're going to St. Thomas. We're going to St. Andrew Technical High School in Kingston on Spanish Town Road, 64 Spanish Town Road. We're going to be doing a health fair there. The year before, we did Haile Selassie High School. And the year before that, we do Irish Galley, which is in Trenchtown. We go everywhere. We're not afraid to go nowhere because we're dancehall people. We're not afraid to go nowhere, right? I mean, I'm the one who run this, and if I say we're going, we go. Yeah, big up Garvin Gray. He's one of our media specialists. He's the one that videotapes everything. If you go on YouTube now, you see at least 60, 70 videos of what we do, because we say if people can't see what we do, don't expect them to support you.
Right.
They have to see your work. So on Wednesday, we go down in the country, in Trelawney, also Spring Trelawney, that's near Albertown. And we do a health fair there too. And we actually built an urgent care center down there because we said, no, man, we must can do better than this. We built an urgent care center down there. So every year we go there, we use it, and if somebody else want to come in and do a mission, they can use the space.
718-554-8598. Dr. Trevor Dixon is in the building, speaking about giving back, right? Coming here as a young youth, understanding the culture and how the culture impacts us as Jamaicans abroad, using that culture to branch off into other things that's now helping him help Jamaicans in Jamaica, right? Give me a call, get involved in the conversation. I wanted to bring him on to just highlight that there are Jamaicans in the diaspora that, you know, give back free of cost, you know what I mean? And again, maybe some of you may want to get involved and donate to the cause and, you know, help him more to be able to educate more doctors in Jamaica. Because, you know what, let me ask the doctor this. How important is the ultrasound?
Chin, if you see what since I've given them the device in January, and we trained them how to use it for about 2 weeks from now. We do ongoing training, virtual training. And if you see the cases that they're presenting to us that they would not be able to see before the ultrasound, people who have fluid, women who are pregnant and have an ectopic pregnancy. And because their vital signs look normal, a doctor would normally think that they're normal. And we'll put the ultrasound down and say, right, look how much blood in the woman's belly. And that time, you'll save that woman's time, because a woman can bleed slowly, you know, to the point where by the time she comes in, she's crashing. And that's what happened. So if you can detect these things early. We have cases where a trauma patient come in and the doctor look at the patient and say, yeah, man, him look all right, you know. And when they put the ultrasound down, they say fluid again. To see, it's like you're blinded without the ultrasound because they're not getting CAT scan. How many hospitals have CAT scan? Savlamore Hospital don't have a CAT scan. Percy Jr. in Spalding don't have a CAT scan. Mandeville don't have a CAT scan. Only CAT scan at KPH and Cornell Regional, and half the time it brought down. Forget about MRI. You understand me? So how important is this? It's so important, and we do so much more. I want to big up the volunteers, because if it wasn't for the volunteers who help us do all these things, because when I'm in Jamaica now, I have the doctors at Jacoby. I have reached a point where they're running a whole ultrasound program, like 6 or 7 doctors just come in and teaching ultrasound, and we share an idea. And we're not just here to teach them. This year we're kind of doing a transition where we have them running the ultrasound, because to go and give a man a fish is great. When you can't teach a man for fish,
right,
that is even more important.
Let me go to the phone line. 718-554-8598 is that number in studio. I wanted to give you guys some positive conversation tonight. This is great, you know, people who are here on the ground, going back, bringing others back, other intellectuals and you know top professionals to help move the hospital system forward in Jamaica, because we all know that our medical system is backwards. You know, we're way back in time when it comes to Jamaica. Dr. Trevor Dixon just told you that half of the hospitals in Jamaica, they're lacking a lot of things. Call you live.
Well, I just like to say to congratulate Dr. Trevor Dixon, because I've been hearing him on the VIP 90.5 FM for quite a while with Erwin Clear. I've heard him quite a number of times, and it's quite apparent he has been doing a tremendous amount of work. So, thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Well, you know what? Thank you so much, caller. I mean, I don't do it by myself. I want to big up all the volunteers, all our supporters, and all our sponsors throughout the years that make things possible. Like I said, you know, being here is so important to me, because if it wasn't for the groundation that I had in the dance hall, I don't think I'd be this much connected to Jamaica. I don't think I'd be this much connected to the people of Jamaica and no suffering. You understand me? And, you know, you go to a dance, everybody go dance. and to show you how innovative JAHJAH Foundation has been. We're the only organization that can say we go into the dance hall. We do a thing called healing in the dance hall, where we go into Uptown Mondays because of the relationship I have with Whitney.
Right.
People want to say, how you can go in a dance hall and do HIV testing? We did a game show in the dance hall to educate the teenagers about HIV and all that stuff. And it's only because of the strength I have from the dance hall would allow me to go. That would allow me to say I'm going into the dance hall to do that. I mean, people say if you hear the story now, you can understand why I go into the dance hall and do all these things. It makes sense.
And I can appreciate that, you know, and it's life. One thing connects us to another thing that connects us to another thing until we reach the place where we are.
Absolutely.
Call it your life.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Big up, Mr. Trevor Dixon. I just want to ask you, could you give me the website or so that you to find your organization on the website?
It's very easy to find. It's JAHJAH, just like the Rastaman. JAHJAH Foundation.org. And let me tell you something. When I told people I was naming the JAHJAH Foundation, I get a blank on the phone. I get crickets. Them say, you're going to name it what? They said, JAHJAH Foundation. Them say, well, you're not going to get no sponsor.
That's that classism from Jamaica.
Yes, absolutely. I say, guess what me say?
Very
We name not change. And
I would name not change.
so you have to have, you have to have courage, you know. You have to have courage in life, otherwise, you become a weak fence.
718-554-8598 is that number in studio. We're almost coming to the end of the program, but I'm going to take some more calls. 718-554-8598. Revelation Vibration is running about 10 minutes late, right? So that will allow me to give you guys a 10-minute review of the Jamrock Cruise Clash, right? At sea, right? So I know so many of you want to hear about that, so just keep it locked. Those of you who are locked onto our streaming partners, right, we're gonna lose you guys at exactly 10 o'clock, but you log on to soundchatradio.com or log on to the app and we can have a little 10 minutes talk about the Sound Clash.
Let me just give you a quick notice. You know, one of the latest project we started is called a EMS program in Jamaica. You know, there's no public ambulance for the most part in Jamaica. And through the JAHJAH Foundation, we just bought our first ambulance for $38,000.
Wow.
Wow.
And it's sitting on the wharf in Jamaica because the Jamaica government think we should pay $20,000 to clear it.
Oh, wow.
And it's in America they have volunteer EMS system in these different towns. We decided that in Westmoreland we're going to do a volunteer EMS system. And go on the webpage, you'll see the ambulance. We bought the ambulance in Dubai, $38,000, shipped it to Jamaica, and it's sitting on the wharf now because the government think I'm going to pay $20,000 to clear an ambulance that costs $38,000 for a public EMS system for Westmoreland to pick up the bike man them, to pick up all the people who they don't want to help in Jamaica. And this is where we are right now. So
how long has it been sitting there?
August 24th, 2023. It's been sitting down there, waiting for them to give me an okay to clear this ambulance because I tell them I'm not paying $20,000.
Have you been having getting closer to any success?
I'm sitting in limbo.
Right. And you know what? I know the phone lines are blazing. I want to take some calls. This is a story that's not unfamiliar. I've heard this story again and again and again and again, where people are bringing ambulances into Jamaica and other things that can help, and the government is taxing them ridiculously. Call your live.
Yeah, Trey.
Yes, Charlie, 90s.
Yeah, man. Sister Stacy.
Yeah, man. Good evening, Charlie.
How you doing? Dr. Trevor Dixon.
Yes, sir. You sound like somebody who know me.
Yeah, man. You know you from a long time before you even turned doctor, man.
Okay.
Remember our Teeth record?
Where is that?
Teeth record. Before we could take it over.
Okay.
You should have St. John. Right?
I know where you are, yeah.
you know Fish, right? The brother with them call Fish?
Yeah, Fish, Joe Gibbs Fish.
Man, I brother named Loxley, them call him
Loxley,
Fish.
yeah. I know Loxley, yeah. He used to work with Joe Gibbs too.
That's my brother, Charlie, the bigger brother, you know.
Okay, so you know Festus and all them guys, right? Jalai.
Yeah, man, them Festus, yeah, man, and all of them, man.
Big up Jalai.
Mikey Jarrett and all them, man, you strong wrong, man.
So Charlie, I know you want to go down memory lane, but I got a question that I want to jump in with, right? Don't hang up. Let me ask this question before I forget. The question to Dr. Trevor Dixon is, did you apply to bring the ambulance in through a charity organization? Let's be real, there are rules and process to bringing things into Jamaica.
Learn this, caller. JAHJAH Foundation is
I think for them should allow it, you know.
All right.
Let me answer that.
All right, Charlie, big up yourself. Go ahead.
JAHJAH Foundation is a real foundation, right? And don't ever forget this, caller, right? We are a registered charity in New York. We're a 501(c) registered charity, and we are a registered charity in Jamaica. We are a registered charity in Jamaica. We follow all the rules, but there's no compliance for ambulance. They have no rules for ambulance because they have never met somebody who wants to not just hand over ambulance and give them. We want to run the EMS system ourselves. I work at Jacoby Medical Center in the Bronx, the #1 trauma center, and that's where the FDNY capital is. And we know how to run trauma. And we're not going to give them ambulance. We're going to run a volunteer EMS system in the community where people in the community can help each other and don't have to rely on the government.
So your charity is registered in Jamaica and registered in America?
Absolutely. We file taxes in America and we file taxes in Jamaica.
So therefore, you're saying that there is no excuse for...
No excuse, except that they have never dealt with this before and they don't know how to deal with it.
And they want to capitalize off of it.
I'm not saying that. Because I know there are people out there who are listening, who have influence. Use your influence. Go to the customs or the Ministry of Finance and tell them to load JAHJAH Foundation ambulance, make it go. It could be helping saving lives, honestly. You know, a motorcycle accident, people having heart attacks and strokes, and there's no ambulance right now in Negril. Negril ambulance is down, and they're asking me to help them buy parts. And that's how I started this whole initiative. I was buying parts for an ambulance in Negril Fire Station, and after spending about $2,000, I said, this don't make no sense.
Let me just buy an ambulance.
Yeah. And people say, I go buy an ambulance. I say, oh, you mean a JAHJAH Foundation with him? So the thing said, Chin.
Listen, man, give everybody give everybody your information. I hope to have you in the future so we can have a longer conversation.
Absolutely.
Give everybody your information and how to contact you and all of that great stuff so they could, you know, help the JAHJAH Foundation.
We keep it very simple. JAHJAHfoundation.org. That's JAHJAH foundation.org. If you want to email us, info@JAHJAHfoundation.org.
JAHJAH Foundation on IG.
You know why? Because it's all about JAHJAH. We know that, right?
It's
all about JAHJAH.
All about JAHJAH. 718-554-8598 is that number in studio. Let me squeeze one more call, and then we will do a quick review. The next program up is running a tad bit late, so I'm going to make use of that time. Caller, you're live. Caller, you're live. Think I might have lost that one. Turn up your radios loud, people. We are still in the building for another 10 minutes.
The sun shall not smite I by day, nor the moon by night, nor the pestilence that lurks in dark places.
Yeah, man, they haven't given ambulance yet. The man that try black thing them need to become real, man. Come on, Jamaica need that more than anywhere else.
Like I said, you know, the listenership for Sound Chat is very wide. If anybody's out there and have influence, tell them to load the ambulance and set the ambulance free, so we can save lives. So we can save lives in Jamaica. We're not here to make any profit. This is not a private ambulance. This is a public ambulance to work with Jamaica's fire brigade in Negril.
The phone lines are going. They're buzzing right now. I'm trying to get to Sound Clash conversation, but I respect the fact that you guys want to talk about the ambulance. Caller, you're live. Caller, you're live. Turn down your radio and listen to your phones, please. Caller, you're live.
Yeah, Chin.
Yes, I.
Yeah, man, enough respect, my Michael Williams from Natural Fountain. Dr. Dixon.
Big up, Michael. Big up yourself.
Yeah, big up yourself, man. You know, Chin, if you want, this is a real doctor from the streets to the medical, to the emergency room.
Same.
So, Dr. Dixon, you know, so some more, big up yourself. You have enough followers out in the community, and I'm one of them. We want to support you. Natural Fountain all the way.
Yeah, man. Respect, Michael. Big up yourself.
All right.
718-554-8598. Caller, you're live. Caller, you're live. Well, Revelation Vibration just arrived. So, I gotta clear the air for them. I probably won't be able to give you guys my clash review. Call you live. It's the same person trying to get through. I think they're having problems with their phones. But Dr. Dixon, thank you so much for passing through. It definitely was a pleasure talking to you. I hope that we can talk more and full length at a different time.
Well,
Love you on the
Chin,
morning show.
thank you guys for reaching out and understanding the work that we were doing and giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Stacy, Ninja, and Chin. Thank you, and your engineer. Thank you for having me here.
And of
One
course,
love.
we have to big up Sister Angie for making
Yes,
it all
absolutely,
possible. So,
yes.
Angie, big up yourself as well. These are the things that we have to talk about as well, people. So we talk about the good things, the bad things, and the in-between things that's happening in Jamaica. Oftentimes, we do say that the diaspora is not doing enough, right? Or not attempting to do anything. So big up to Dr. Dixon, Dr. Trevor Dixon, of
JAHJAH
course.
Foundation.
As them said, JAHJAH Foundation. Hardcore doctor from the streets.
One love.
One love for them.
Greatness in the movie, you know?